What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got another project here. It's on the Jeep. You see I have the hood up. It's not going to be anything under the hood or underneath in the drivetrain or anything like that on this one. Whenever I parked it last, I haven't driven it in quite some time. I went to start it today and the battery was dead. So I've got the hood up, got the battery charger on it. Gonna let it charge while I do this job. But what happened was I was rolling up my windows here, and I hear a snap on the passenger side, and then the window just slides right back down into the door as the motor goes all the way up, and you can hear the motor running. So you guessed it, it's the motor actuator assembly in here for the window. That cable snapped. So that's going to be the project here. We're going to do a quick video on how to do this, and should be pretty easy, but we'll see. Let's dive into this and hang tight. Okay, the first thing we're going to do here, there are Phillips head screws. There's 1, 2, 3, and behind the handle here is number 4. We're going to remove all of those screws, and then that should release this door panel from the doors, except for the plastic trim, the trim rivets that hold the door panel onto the door as well. So we'll remove these real quick. And using a magnetic screwdriver is helpful because the hole that's in there, when the screw's all the way out, the head doesn't come all the way out of the hole. So if you got a magnetic screwdriver, you can use a little magnet to pull that screw out. All these screws are the same size except for this one in here. Pull that one out. And then the next stage is I have a plastic putty knife. I don't have any of the interior panel tools. I need to get some of those because those are just outstanding. That's what they're made for. But you can pull this door panel back here on the corner. Oh, then I didn't even need it, but just be really careful, and then all of those little plastic snap fasteners will pop off. And then the next thing you do is you just lift up on the door panel like that, and then it will come loose. Okay, the next step is you have your lock linkage and then your door handle linkage here. So what you do is these little tabs here is you pop those out, and then they'll pivot out off of the linkage, and it snaps around the linkage so it holds in place. And then these will just slide right out. That bottom one slides up, the top one will slide down. And then next is your window control, and then the door lock control. So it has a button here on the top, so you just press that button and you wiggle, and should come right out. Be careful pulling on those because this old plastic can break. So just be really gentle with it, but they can be a bugger sometimes. But once that's out, the door panel's off. Okay, the next thing is there's a wire here that has one of those interior panel rivets. This is where an interior panel tool would be in good use. I got a little pair of needle nose here, but I'll get behind there like that tool would, and then just pop that out. And this interior plastic sheeting here, it's supposed to keep moisture out and help dampen sound and all that. It's got some like tar material. You might be able to get this stuff to stick back if there's been a lot of dirt that's gotten back there? Probably not. So getting some two-sided tape. If you want to put this back on, you can get some two-sided Gorilla tape. Just go around the border and then you can stick it back on. But just be careful when you pull it off. Depending on the condition of your Jeep, you know, a lot of them have been outdoors all their life. They're over 30 years old. This could tear, and if you're wanting to preserve it, be really careful with it. But if it's just an off-road rig, yeah, probably wouldn't mind. I know a lot of people, they just take the doors off when they go off-roading with these. But anyway, yeah, that peels right off. And get this removed. Set this aside. That's like bubble gum. Okay, once you got the panel off and that interior moisture guard off, I loosened these already. But the next thing you do is you got to reach in here with your hands. Be careful, some of these edges can be sharp. They could cut your hands. But you should lift your window up. And right here on this window bracket, there are two 10mm bolts that attach directly to the glass. So you remove those bolts and then you'll slide your window up. And I'm going to use duct tape to just hold the window up. There are professional tools, like they make a couple of suction cups with a rope on it that you could suction cup the window up. But yeah, duct tape has been working for years. But I will take these out. I already loosened them. So you take these two 10mm bolts out. Right here, and then hold the glass up while you remove them so the glass won't just fall down into the door cavity there. So once you remove those, just lift up on the window, back in the track, try not to slide it off track, and just hold it up and put a couple of pieces of duct tape around that, and that should put a couple of pieces of duct tape around it, and that should do the trick, and then we'll be able to get this mechanism out of here. Okay, the next step after removing those 10mm bolts and taping the window up is there is a tube in here connected to this mechanism here that has one of those panel rivets from the inside here, and then this electrical connection to the motor here has one also. So with your tool, or depending on how tough that is, you could just pop that out by hand. The plug one came out by hand too. Here's the plug. What you do here is there's a red tab here. You just snap that tab to one side, and there's a button on the bottom side there. I know my arm is in the way, but you press that button and then the electrical will come loose. And like I said, there's 10mm bolts here at the top of the mechanism. There's one at the top, two at the bottom, and then three 10mm nuts that are holding the motor on over here. So what you want to do, and as you can see, it's slotted, so you just loosen them and you can lift them up and the bolt heads will go through those holes. So that's why you only have to loosen them. So you just lift up on this part, get the bolt heads through, and it's really tight in here, and it's going to be a little bit of fighting it to get it out, but it is possible. But do the same thing, just lift the motor up on the inside like that, and pull those nuts through. Now it should be all loose. Now the game is to get all of this positioned and be able to turn it. There we go. And you can turn the top this way, move the bottom of it that way, and you should be able to get the top part of this mechanism out. And here's that tube I was talking about. It's flexible, so you got to get it through this hole as well. So yeah, it's jammed right there. So yeah, it can be difficult to get the motor part out. See, there's that tube I was talking about. So if we can get that part out. Now the part of that tube that goes this direction, it's not a full circle, so you can grab it, pull it out, then you'll be able to swing that mechanism that direction, and hopefully get that out of here. Let's see what we can do about that. Oh, I've got the bolt stuck in the hole again. There we go. That 10mm bolt got caught in that winding. There we go. Now it came out. Okay. Now I got the new part here. I ordered this from 1A Auto. I've been getting my parts from there. I mean, it's they have a lot of parts for a lot of vehicles. They've all the parts I've purchased from there, they've always had in stock, and they ship really quick within a couple of days. So this is the new item. It's not an OEM brand, but it is for this Jeep. And I believe I paid 60 bucks for it. I think it's $59.99, something like that. But I will put a link in the description to 1A Auto, and you all can search for yourself. But next thing to do here is we'll do a part comparison. And of course, these parts that are not OEM, they're aftermarket, will look a little different. You just have to make sure that the plugs match and that the bolts and bolt holes and all that stuff match up. So what we'll do is we will set these side by side and see that these do match up. Yes. And then this hole matches, that hole matches. Yeah, these are angled the proper direction. Okay, and that this is the proper length. And this is a little different motor setup. So that does look like it'll fit. So now we will attempt to install it. Okay, we're installing the new part. Here on the guide part, I removed the 10mm bolts out of the old one and put them in here so that they'll slot in the holes. But the motor side has its own nuts, so I just loosen those up. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in here like this and maneuver this up. This new one, that the OEM one, that thing was so long, made it difficult to get that in. This one is a little shorter, and man, it was simple to get that in compared to that other one. So we got those in place. So now we will get the motor part in place. And wow, it was that easy. And this plugs right in there. It's snapped in. And then this one's green, but just push that over, and then that will take care of that. And we'll snap that back in place here. Now these here are different, so you won't be snapping that panel rivet back in with these because they're a little shorter. So it just kind of floats right here. So there's no need for that one. So we've got that plugged in. We have these in place. So now we will tighten these 10mm bolts up. Don't want to over tighten it. Okay. All right. And next we will untape the window, and then we will get it reattached to the bracket on the assembly. Okay, so what we need to do next is I got the door panel here. The way these door switches work is they each need to be plugged in because if this passenger one is unplugged, the button for the passenger window won't connect with this door and make it function. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these 2 screws out here, 1 screw out there. This thing will come out, and then I'm going to plug it back into here, and then I'm going to get on the driver's side and I'm going to turn the key and roll the window up a little bit so that this bracket where those 10mm bolts screw into the window, got to lift it up enough so that we have access to tighten them. Then we'll lower the window down and put those in. Don't start the vehicle, just put it in the accessory mode and then hit the passenger window button up, and as you can see, that will move that and make those bolt holes accessible. And I have that plugged in over there, so it completed the circuit there for that to work. So you have to plug those in before this button over here will work. Now we're going to release the duct tape up here at the top. Pull that off, and if you get any duct tape on the paint at the top of the door or on the window, WD-40, I've used WD-40 before whenever I owned my semi truck. When I leased to a different company, I used WD-40 to pull the old decals off. It didn't affect the paint at all. WD-40 works great. So if any of that duct tape residue gets on the paint or on this window, you just use a little WD-40, it'll break it up, and then Windex your window and you'll be golden. So now just slowly lower your window down until those mounting holes here line up with the bracket there. And you just start to hand thread those. You don't want to cross thread them or anything. And I'm not going to use an impact at all to tighten these because it's on the glass. So I'm just going to use my ratchet here with an extension, because I don't want to risk shattering that glass at all. So, and you don't need to really over tighten these, just snug it, and I turn it just a little bit more after snug, like that. Now, once that's done, we'll put on our moisture barrier here that we had on before. It goes on just like this, so we'll feed these back through this corner hole here. Then we feed these back through this access here for the door panel. And I let this lay out in the sun so that tar would get hot. And that worked, so that it'll stick back really nice. And then, oh yeah, that worked. I knew that putting that out in the sun would definitely do the trick. Okay, and then we'll snap this wire here back in place. And then all we do is hook up our plugs. I reinstalled the switch here back on the door panel, so just snap those plugs back in till you hear it click. And I hit the lock button, so that's working. And then same thing here is your door handle linkage here on the bottom. You just slide it in from the top down through that yellow clip, and then you spin that back around. Oop, you can't see that. Yeah, come in closer there. And then you put it in from top down, then you spin that back and it'll snap. Now this one, you come in from the bottom up. Now be careful, these things can break, so you got to get the angle correct on the door panel, and you got to wiggle it a little bit sometimes to be able to get those to, that linkage to slide on through that plastic piece without breaking it. There we go. There we go. And then you just snap that back in place. And then we just get this piece and hook it back over the door here. And like I said, this lip here will just lip down in that groove here. So once all that's connected, you just lift your door panel up, line it up with that groove. Oop. And try to slide that in there. Well, looks like it's easier said than done, doesn't it? And there are some dowels, plastic dowels here that go in these in a bigger hole here. So once you press that in, hey, that lets you know if you've got it low enough down in that track. Same way on the top side there. And then at that point, just make sure your plastic rivets are lining up with the holes, and then you can snap those back in. And it's that simple. And then what's left are the screws from the door panel. The smaller screw here, Phillips head, goes right back here by the door opening handle. We'll screw that back in. And then these three larger Phillips head, there's one right under here. That'll screw in there. And then this one will screw in here. Don't need to over tighten those either. And then screw that one in. And that completes the project. And now we'll go back around. We'll run the window up and down, make sure everything functions properly. Okay, we're back around on the driver's side. This is going to be our final test. So we will, like I said, just put it on the accessory. Turn it forward. Hit the passenger window button. Awesome. Awesome. Job well done. And I appreciate all of you watching. I really do. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. I'll have more coming. I got more projects coming up now that the weather's better. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching, and until next time.